Get ready for a third E Jean Carroll lawsuit against Donald Trump. Here's why. Play the clip.
Sometimes it's not good to be rich. I just posted a $91 million bond, 91 million, on a fake story, totally made up story. Think of it, 91 million. I could say things about what it would cost normally. 91 million. Based on false accusations made about me by a woman that I knew nothing about, didn't know, never heard of. I know nothing about her. She wrote a book, she said things. And when I denied it, I said, it's so crazy, it's false. I got sued for defamation. That's where it starts.
So the clip that just played was Donald Trump in Rome, Georgia over the weekend, giving a speech ostensibly about his campaign, but that's not what Donald Trump talks about during his speeches, which are more like traveling fascist circus events where he goes and just defames people and whines and complains and then has all of these cognitive glitches and then claims that he's not cognitively impaired. But there you saw Donald Trump, in my view, in my opinion, that's a clear-cut example of defamation against E Jean Carroll. Donald Trump was previously found liable in May of 2023 for defaming and sexually assaulting E Jean Carroll. E Jean Carroll was awarded $5 million. Then more recently, Donald Trump was found liable again for defaming E Jean Carroll. She was awarded $83.3 million. Donald Trump tried to avoid posting a bond during his appeal. He ended up having to post a supersedious bond in the amount of $91.6 million. He wasn't able to post that money with his own cash. He had to get a bond from Federal Insurance Company, which is the parent company of Chubb. So as I watched Donald Trump give that speech, I'd say that's a clear-cut example of, in my own opinion, defamation of character against E Jean Carroll again. In another E Jean Carroll trial against Donald Trump, liability would be stipulated because he's already been found liable. So once again, E Jean Carroll will get to go in front of a jury, and I think she'll get to basically pick her number. And I hope the next time it's over $100 million to tell the jury he won't stop. Even after an $83.3 million verdict, he won't stop. He continues to defame his sexual assault victim over and over again. And by the way, a few weeks back in Michigan, Donald Trump also, in my view, came very close to defaming E Jean Carroll. I would say it probably constitutes defamation, although I think the most recent example I just shared is a very clear-cut example from his speech in Rome, Georgia, but this was Donald Trump from a few weeks back in Michigan. And again, this is just part of his stump speech, defaming his sexual assault victim. Play this clip.
How about the one 2 weeks ago? A woman, I'm saying, who the hell is she? Who is the woman? It's so unfair what's happening in our country. Our court system is a mess. What's happening in our country, they have to straighten it out.
And so as I repeat over and over again, this is not normal. You have a leader of a political party going around as part of a stump speech defaming their victim over and over and over again like that. Like, that's sickening. That's disgusting stuff right there in any context. Could you imagine if you worked at a company, whether it's large, medium-sized, small, say you were working with a nonprofit, say you were part of a social gathering. Let's just use that as an example. Say you were part of a social gathering, a group of people you play cards with, a group of people, say, that you go bird watching with, a group of people, fantasy football league, and when you meet together, say a group of people who you watch sports with. You show up at a house, you're invited there, you show up, you're in the living room. And first off, would you be in the living room with someone who is found liable for sexual assault? Number one, because if you knew that and you were hanging out with somebody who was liable for that, I would probably say that's a massive red flag. But say you show up, you're there, and then while you're there watching, all the person does is talk about attacking their victim over and over and over again in front of you. If you didn't leave the house, I would question your moral character. If you worked for a boss who behaved this way, if you worked at a company that behaved this way, if you surrounded yourself by people who behaved this way and you didn't leave and you didn't think it was morally reprehensible, I would think that there are serious issues about judgment there, and I would think that this is horrific conduct in any context, no matter what the context is, no matter what the context is, period. But that's his campaign speech? That's what he goes around the country and does? It's despicable stuff. And so, by the way, why am I so confident that there's going to be another E Jean Carroll lawsuit against Donald Trump? Well, we have clips of E Jean Carroll saying that. This was after E Jean Carroll was awarded $83.3 million in the last trial when Rachel Maddow asked her the following question. Watch how E Jean Carroll responds. Play this clip.
E Jean, in terms of the what you've just been through, I mean, to hear a lawyer as experienced as Ravi Kaplan say it was nerve-wracking to be in that room sometimes because of the way this was conducted. I have to ask you, President Trump has kept your name out of his mouth since being told he has to pay $83 million to you for what he's done in the past. But over the weekend, he did start posting links online to articles that attacked you and denied your claims. Again, he seems to be pushing it already in terms of whether or not he is going to go back to calling you a liar and denying that he did what he did. If it came to it, if your lawyers told you that there was another case and that you should go back and get more money out of him and sue him again, would you do it?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Also, E Jean Carroll said that Donald Trump was like a walrus during the trial itself. Play this clip.
Who, by the way, Rachel, is not even there. He's nothing. He is like a walrus snorting and like a rhino flopping his hand. He is not there. That was the surprising thing to me.
And here's an interview on Anderson Cooper with Roberta Kaplan, E Jean Carroll's lawyer, where he asks her if there's potential for another case. Play this clip.
If he continues to defame her, will there be more? I mean, is it potential there's another case?
I'm too good of a lawyer to tell you that, but everything's on the table.
I don't think you have any choice if you're E Jean Carroll and Roberta Kaplan now. At the very least, I think you need to go into federal court, and I think you need to ask Judge Lewis Kaplan for some form of injunctive relief, some form of a temporary restraining order against Donald Trump for his conduct in constantly defaming her after being found liable for this conduct. I think you have to. He's not going to stop. And then I think you go and seek even more damages, and I think you sue him again. I think you sue him again, and I think you sue him again. By the way, she hasn't sued him yet for all of the conduct post the first trial where she was awarded $5 million. Remember then Trump did that so-called CNN town hall and then defamed E Jean Carroll? That technically was not part of the most recent case where she was awarded $83.3 million. What was part of the most recent case were two statements that Donald Trump made while he was in office. E Jean Carroll was allowed to talk about these other statements that Trump's made since the other verdict as a way of conveying to the jury the importance of punitive damages, but those statements themselves were not at issue in that lawsuit. So I think E Jean Carroll files what I would do, although she's got the best lawyer, so I think that they know what to do, regardless of what they ultimately decide to do. And that's an understatement. I am so impressed and in awe of their legal work. I just want to make that very clear. But I think what they could do is probably how I should say it. What they could do is file a defamation lawsuit, include all of those statements that Donald Trump made since May of 2023 to even the present right now. I think that's a powerful lawsuit. So if those two statements, E Jean Carroll was awarded $83.3 million. If you've got all of these other defamatory statements, I go for $500 million. We'll see. I'm Ben Meiselas. This is the MeidasTouch Network. Tell me what you think. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 3 million subscribers together. Have a wonderful day.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Meidas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.